I'm Lauren. I have decided to give YouTube another go. I am here to talk about my crafty things. I'm a knitter, I'm a sewist. I do a little bit of crochet, English paper piecing, but today I'm going to talk about my knitting and my sewing. You can just watch the knitting. I'll keep it together, so I'll do the knitting first, then I'll do the sewing. So if you only want to watch one bit, you can skip the rest and yeah, what have you. So I'm going to start off with my knitting. I don't think there's much else you need to know, is there? I'm on Instagram. I'm Knitty Natty New on Instagram too. I've fallen out of love with Instagram a little bit. I don't really post very much on my grid anymore, but I post lots in stories. I don't really know why. I'm not massive on the reels and video stuff, so she says being here on YouTube. What shall I start with? Shall I start with what I'm wearing today? So I have got a waistcoat on today. This is just a shop bought t-shirt, but I made the waistcoat. I'll stand up a little bit so you can see. Yeah, so it's just a little waistcoat. It's made from a curtain fabric my mum gave me when she was moving house that she just had in the cupboard. And when I posted it on Instagram, my auntie messaged me and said, I think that used to be my door curtain in the 80s in one of her old houses. So that's where I got the fabric from. It's fully reversible. So it's pink on this side, does up with a little bow here, but you can turn it around and wear it on the other side. I used the pattern is from New Craft House. It's really easy, really simple little pattern. And yeah, so I used the curtain fabric, and then I got the other fabric from my little craft shop. And the wadding, I wanted to make it quickly as usual, my usual get an idea and that's it, I want to do it. So they didn't really have much wadding choices in the little craft shop. So I just chose the one that I wanted. I didn't want it too thick. I wanted quite a lightweight wadding. And the one that she had was for oven gloves. So effectively I am wearing a giant oven glove, but that's fine, you know, if you need to get something hot out of the oven, I'm your girl when I've got this on. But yeah, I really like it. I wear it quite a lot. It's perfect for this sort of time of year when it's, you know, it's not freezing, but you need something a little bit warmer on. Yeah, so that's that. But now I'm going to get on with my knitting. Right, so here goes with my knitting. I'll show you my finished objects that I finished recently first, and then I'll show you some of my whips as well. First of all, I have finished my lovely yellow cardie. Oh, isn't she lovely? The only thing is, it is a little bit like, you know, the dinosaur in Jurassic Park, you know, the one, the little cute guy. It gets his fill up around his neck. When before I blocked it, it was awful. This literally stuck up on end around my neck, and I was a bit worried that it wasn't going to work. But actually, after blocking, it has flattened down a little bit. Where the frill is a little bit shorter around the button placket, I had to tack it down because it's almost too short and it does just stick out. So I've just gently tacked down this area, but you can't tell just with the lights. So I used the yarn I got from Unravel. It was in a bargain bin, and it's not a yarn I've ever used before, but I really like it. It's one of those blown yarns. It's by, I don't really know how to say it, Adriafil, Sedisi, but it's really similar to Drops Air, which I've used a couple of times. So it's like a blown yarn. So there's a tube of cotton, and then they blow the fibre into it. This one, the air I think is alpaca, but this says it's wool, but it's so soft and really light. It creates like a really light, loose garment. The pattern I used, I followed loosely the Chartreuse cardigan by Amy Loudon. It's just a really great basic cardi. I've made 3 or 4 of them now. I think this is the 4th one I've made. I'm not sure if I followed the sleeves. I think I just did straight sleeves and then rapidly decrease at the cuff. That's just the sort of sleeve I like. Not massively balloony, but a little bit loose with a bit of a flounce at the bottom of it. It's a really great pattern. It's just a basic v-neck cardi, and she does the button band on the small DPNs, which just changes the gauge slightly and yeah, gives it a really lovely finish. And then I just self-drafted. I just put the frill on. So I picked up all the stitches all the way around the neck and then rapidly increased to create the ruffle effect. And then I just did with short rows, just so it's shorter down the bottom here and then goes wider around the back. Oh, isn't it lovely? The frill, I just used a drops mohair. I think it's called Lemonade. Oh, it's so nice. And the buttons, I've also got to unravel. They are Ethel and Joan, the lady's name is, and she makes them with resin. So I think they're hand poured resin buttons. They're just really nice. And I've got a latest thing that I like doing on my cardigans. I'll just undo the buttons. Is I like putting a facing on the placket. It is a placket button band, and it just stops it from stretching and fraying when you're putting the buttons up. So I sew some ribbon. I think you're supposed to use grosgrain ribbon, but I just use any old ribbon that I had in my stash, and then just make pretty shoddy buttonholes on the front, but you can't ever see them when it's done up. But it just stops the button placket from stretching and holds the weight of the buttons without it, yeah, stretching. I just think it'll help make the garment last a little bit longer. It's really nice on, and I've got some yellow things that I have sewn, so I think I'll wear it a lot this summer. Very pleased with that. Oh, I'm not a very technical person. I very rarely gauge swatch, and I couldn't even tell you what size needles I used for that. I probably, looks like maybe a 5mm, but yeah, like I say, I'm not a technical girl. You're not going to get that here, but I'll just show you. It's nice to have some ideas, and I'm happy to help if you want to ask any questions, or I can share more if you ask me. The next thing I finished was a test knit. It's a little bit screwed up because I finished it and then I blocked it, then I folded it up and put it in my basket, and yeah, that's where it stayed. I don't know why, because it's lovely. It's by, let me just look so I've got her name right. Her name is Massamil on Instagram, and this is called the Frou Frou sweater. So it's a V-neck front and back jumper. Oh, it doesn't look very good like that. Yeah, so V-neck front and back, and it kind of on me is a really wide V-neck, so it sits just on the top of my shoulders, but it doesn't fall down. It's really nice. I think the pattern was for 3/4 length sleeves, but I went long, and actually for me they're a really fitted sleeve. I don't normally make a fitted sleeve, but they're really nice, and it has I-cord edging around the bottom and around the bottom of the sleeves and around the neckline as well, which you put on. It's an applied I-cord, so you put that on after. Oh, it's nice. So it's a really soft pale blue. I used Drops Baby Merino in just, I think it was called Dew. Yeah, but it's a really nice, it'll be lovely in the summer, a really pretty thing. I made the biggest size, so obviously I'm a plus size girl, and this is a French designer. I think I made a 2XL, and I wear, I don't know, a UK size 20, 22, and yeah, that was as big as it went to, but it fits me fine. I perhaps would have made the sleeves a little bit wider if I was making it again, but they're okay. It's a really interesting construction. I think it's called a saddle shoulder. So you start on the, and do like a sort of rectangle on the top here, and then do almost like raglan increases on the front and the back, but it fits really lovely on the shoulder, and then you keep those on hold and knit the sleeve down from there. But it's a lovely construction, something different that I hadn't done before. And yeah, I think I should definitely put that back in my wardrobe. I don't know why I folded it up. I'm really bad for doing that. I finish things and then they stay in my basket. I think that must mean I'm a process knitter. Even though I really like it, I'd sort of save it. Silly. Right, that's going in my wardrobe now. So I really recommend that pattern. It's lovely. She's got lots of nice ones, actually. Some really nice summery bits. But yeah, recommend her. Then I'm just going to show you my socks, my latest socks that I finished. I'm a ruffle girl. I'm a pink girl. I like a ruffle. I like a bow. I like a frill. So I made these socks. I did a folded cuff. So on the inside it's ribbed, and then I folded it over just with a stockinette top. And then I had this little bit of lace that, it came when my granny passed away. I inherited her button tin and a few of her little sewing bits that she had. And this lace was in it. I think it might even be cut off the bottom of a petticoat or something. It's not inexpensive lace. I'm not sure what she had planned to do with it. But I thought, I'll make some lacy socks with it. So I just used the sort of really small holes in the edge of the lace and used a really small crochet hook to put the wool or the yarn through at different intervals to make it ruffle up. And yeah, I did the folded hem, then picked up the lace, then started with the main colour. I'm really pleased with it. They're quite short. I wanted them just so that they poked out the top of a pair of shoes, so just so you could see the little frilly edge. I have got quite girthy ankles, so I really like a folded hem. Sometimes if I just cast off, it's a little bit tight around the top of my ankle or around my calf. So these have a lot of stretch in them. And because this is all ruffled, there's plenty of space for it to stretch out over my ankle. Yeah, I really like them. And then I just, out of a Stitch Dictionary, just got this little lace pattern and did a short row heel. They're really nice. And with the lace, it kind of gives them a little bit more stretch again, so they fit really nicely. I'm really pleased with them. It's a little bit baggy on that bit there, but I won't notice when it's stretched out. The yarn I used, I bought on a bit of a whim, and I bought it and then I cast it on the same day. So a new yarn shop opened just down the road from me. It's called the Knit Lounge, and they sell luxury yarns, and it's a nice, lovely little shop that I'm really lucky is close to me. So this was Coop Knit socks. Yeah, she had a huge range of colours, and I've never used it before. I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but yeah, it's a really nice, I've not used a yarn like it before. It's a really lovely texture. It's just the usual 75-25 with superwash merino and nylon, but it gives it a lovely finish. And I just chose these ice creamy sort of colours to match the pale pink lace that I had. And yeah, that was really unusual for me. Bought it and cast it on the same day. So very pleased with those. Yeah, and I think that's it with my finished objects. So I will now show you what I'm working on at the moment. As we were talking about socks, I will show you my sock whip I have on the go at the moment. I think it's going to be pretty tricky to show because it's in a really, it shows really nicely, really dark yarn, but it's the sparkliest yarn I've ever seen. It actually shows on the camera. Normally it doesn't, does it? But this is lovely. Again, I bought this at Unravel. It's by Debonair Yarns. It's called Stormy. So it's really dark, really sparkly. And I just decided to freestyle. I've got one finished already. This is what I don't think will show. So I've just found a little stitch pattern in a Stitch Bible. And it's sort of like a ribbed, and actually when I block it at the top is supposed to be like a kind of scalloped edge around the top. And then I've just done the heel flap and the whole sock in a twisted rib, which sort of flows down from the lace pattern at the top. Yeah, they're jazzy little pair of socks. So I finished one, and when I say I started the other, I have literally just started the other. So I need to go back and remember what stitch pattern I used, because I'm really bad for writing things down. Oh, I remember that, and then I never do. So let's hope I can find the right one. I used a pattern out of this is one of my favourite stitch dictionaries, so the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible, and it's actually a large pattern, so I'll just show you. You can't see. So it's from a really big part, so I've just selected using this bit, and then I've adapted it so this, as it goes from here, it just runs into the rib. So I've changed it so it doesn't keep going. I've just used the rib from there, and yeah, I'm really pleased with it. They look really complicated, some of them in here, but actually if you just follow the charts and follow the symbols, they're not difficult at all, and there's some beautiful different patterns in there. It's a really great book, so I'd highly recommend that if you don't have one already. So that's my sock. And then what shall I show you next? This one's going to be tricky to show because it's at a really weird point on the needles. But so I am making an outline tee by Jessie May Designs. So it's a summer cropped t-shirt with this really lovely dropped stitch detail. So this is the neckline, so it's a really deep V, and then this drop stitch goes all the way down the front, and then another one that goes up the other side. I'm just working on the other side of the V at the moment. Dropping the stitch was really exciting. It was really fun actually to do it, and I really like the effect. So it has this drop stitch detail around the neck and down the front, down the sides and down the back, and it's just a really drapey, lovely loose fit, oversized cropped summery tee. The yarn I'm using is a little bit of a mystery. I bought it in a charity shop thinking it was cotton. I bought it on a cone. So in the charity shop there was this cone and a massive cake that somebody had caked up into a cake together, and I bought them together, and I've just been working off the cake at the moment. Inside it says made in France, and then it's got like a little sticker, but only with numbers on. Doesn't really give you any clue to what it is. And I thought, like I say, I thought it was just cotton, but as I've been working with it, it's not cotton. Oh, I think it might be silk. I'm not sure. It could be bamboo. It's definitely a natural fibre. It could be bamboo. It could be linen. But I did a bit of research and did a burn test with it, and I think it's silk. It was only like £1.50 for all of it, so if it is, I'm really pleased. And it doesn't matter, it knit up, it feels really cold, almost when you pick it up it feels like cool to the touch, and it drapes really nicely. It's not particularly shiny. I thought silk is supposed to be sort of have a sheen to it, so it doesn't have that, but it feels really nice. I mean, I don't mind what fibre it is. It's definitely, like I say, it's definitely a natural summer fibre, but I've never knit with knit silk before. So if you've got any other ways that you know how to test or find out what it is, I'd be really grateful to know, because it's just interesting. I'd just be interested to know actually what it is. But like I say, I did a burn test, and yeah, I think it's silk. You burn it, and the way it burns and the smell it makes when it's burning indicates to me that it's silk. But hey, who knows? Even if it's not, I really like it. So I think I'll wear that a lot this summer. It will be perfect with some of the sort of sewing makes that I'm doing at the moment. Nice colour. It's a really lovely peach, really soft peach. It's lovely to knit with. I really like it. Yeah, exciting. So next I have so I really have always really loved the cardigan that Baby wears in Dirty Dancing. I love Dirty Dancing. I think I've probably seen it 100+ times. I can quote my whole way through the film. And I carried a watermelon. And I love all the clothes she wears. I mean, I'm nothing like Baby, but I really love her cardigan. I'll just see if I can put a picture in, but it's like a sort of oversized blue cardi with like a bobble front. So I thought I'd have a go at making one myself. This is in different yarn that I would normally use. It's an acrylic yarn by James C. Brett. It's fluffy, really fluffy. I think it's acrylic, but it's a really good price for whatever. Yeah, 80% acrylic, 20% wool, but it was just exactly the right colour that I wanted. And yeah, it's really nice. It's a DK weight, but it's really fine. That's double-stranded. Really fine. But it says it's DK weight, and it knits to a DK weight, and I think the fluff sort of fills in the gaps. So I really like that. So I haven't got very far as yet, but I've decided to just kind of make it up as I go along, my usual business. So I found a nice bobble stitch. I hate knitting bobbles. I hate the turning it round. I love how they look, but I find them quite annoying to knit. So I found a bubble pattern in a Stitch Dictionary where you increase stitches and then decrease them again. So you don't have to turn the work ever. And I really like actually the effect. So I'm just doing those on the front of the cardigan. It's going to be a round neck cardi. Let me see how I can show you. Yeah, so like a round neck cardi, I'm doing a raglan increases for the sleeves. I want quite big sleeves, I think. And I think I want it quite long, possibly with pockets in. We'll see when I get there. And then just plain on the back and on the sleeves. And I think the buttons, I'm gonna either try and make self-covered knitted buttons or just knit bobbles. To be honest, I will never do this up. It will be an open cardi that wear it like Baby wears it. And so sort of like almost imitating these bobbles here for the buttons as you go down. It's just such a nice colour. I think I did write the colour down. What is it? China blue. That's a perfect name for it. It'll just go with so much and be easy to chuck on over everything as a nice warm cardi. And it knits up. It's so soft. It's, yeah, like I say, it's a budget yarn and it's different to what I would usually use, but I saw it on a podcast that someone else was using it and really loved the colour. And yeah, I think that's going to be a beauty as we go on. So I have got other whips, but they are the main three that I'm working on at the moment. And I don't want to show you everything I've got. The only thing I have that I was going to show you extra is with the leftover yellow yarn that I made my yellow cardi out of. I've got a whole ball left. And I bought these at Unravel. So I really like them. 2 fluffy pom-poms. They were from the Crafty Bird. I think she makes them, but they sort of look like alpaca pom-poms, but they're not. They're faux. But I think I want to make like a long, thin scarf and have a pom-pom at either end. So like a scarf that you can just wrap round and have a pom-pom at either end. I think, you know, not wide, like quite a thin scarf. So I'm not sure if anyone has a pattern for that. I'm not sure how far one ball of yarn go, but I really like the colours together. And I have a yellow coat in the winter. Might be a bit much yellow, but I think it'll be really nice. Should I knit a winter scarf in the summer? Probably not, but Am I going to? Yes. I think they'll be really nice. Yeah, so that's future plans for my knitting. Okay, so sewing. I'm not the most experienced of sewers. I'm learning. I'm a real beginner, really. Knitting is my first love, but as a plus size girl, it's difficult to buy the things you like. I quite like weird clothes, maybe, as some people would say. So it's difficult to buy those things in my size. So I thought I'd learn how to sew. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how I've been getting on with it. There's so many lovely indie pattern companies that really hold your hand with YouTube tutorials and yeah, really detailed instructions, which have really helped me. And I've learned a lot along the way. I'm really into it at the moment. It's just, I mean, I live in a tiny house. We don't have a craft room or anything like that. So I have to put it out on my kitchen table. So it's effort getting it out and putting it away again. But it's worth it. I love it. So I will show you what I've been working on. And yeah, like I say, I might have to fudge a few bits here and there and I've made mistakes, but I'm learning and they're all wearable. So I'm pretty happy. So first of all, I've made 2 pairs of trousers. Now, these could do with an iron, but I've recently got them out of the tumble dryer. I wore them recently, so I thought I would just show you, wouldn't mind. So these are the Pietra pants by Closet Core Patterns. They're a really nice trouser. I mean, look at my pattern matching. It's bad, but actually when you're on, I don't mind. It's fine. So they've got these massive pockets, deep pockets, that kind of bag out slightly when you wear them. They're high-waisted trousers that are a really wide leg. I mean, are they a little bit Bay City roller? Yes, but I absolutely love them. They're in a kind of brushed cotton that I've had in stash for ages. They have an elasticated back and then a flat fronted waistband. And like I say, they really are quite high-waisted. But I wear them a lot. They're really comfy. They suit me, my shape, I think. And yeah, oh, the pattern matching looks bad there. But when they're on, I don't notice it too bad. And, well, you know, if you're that bothered, you're looking too close at my tummy. They're quite a flattering shape because they're flat-fronted. Yeah, flattering is probably the wrong word, but I really like them. They just easy to wear. I wear a t-shirt and tuck it in with them, and I wear them a lot. So because of the success of those, I saw a company on Instagram that sold trousers in this material. It's lovely. I searched everywhere. They didn't make them in my size. I would have bought them, but they didn't make them in my size. So I thought I'd have a go at making them myself. I searched everywhere for this yellow large gingham. I didn't want like canary yellow. I wanted mustard yellow. And it took me ages to find some, but I can't remember where I bought it, Fabrics Galore, I think, online. And then I made myself a yellow gingham pair. Same Pietra pants. I did a little bit better with my pattern matching look on the front this time. Well done, me. Yeah, they're the same wide leg trousers. Do they look a little bit tableclothy? Perhaps, but I really like them. They're just so comfortable. I used a little label in this one from Little Rosy Cheeks. That fits in really nicely. I think I'll wear them a lot in the summer. I've worn them once already. And yeah, I really like them. And actually, it goes really nicely with the yellow cardie that I've knit. So that'll be a nice little outfit with a white vest. Yeah, I'm really pleased with them. What else can I say about those? They're both out of just cotton material. Yeah, really easy. They have seams down the front. So the front are in 2 pieces and the back are just 2 pieces for each leg. And the back are just 1 piece for each leg. But yeah, they fit really nicely. And I mean, like I say, I'm a plus size girl. And I didn't use the largest size. They're really size inclusive pattern. I think they go up to sort of UK 26, 28, something like that. So yeah, I really recommend those trousers. And they also have a shorts version and a cropped trouser version, and not quite so wide leg, but I like a wide leg trouser and I really like them. So that's my first finished thing in sewing. Then I made a McCall's R11033. So it's like a frilly sort of blouse, or it doesn't have to be frilly, you could make that version. So I've made the sleeveless version, and it's the summeriest blouse I've ever seen already. So I used the strawberry polycotton my mum bought to make a dress for my daughter when she was little. She's 13 now, and yeah, never got around to it, and she had bought this gingham to go with it, and so I ended up having it. I only had a metre of each, so I didn't really know what to make with it, so I thought, yeah, I'll go in with this little summer blouse. It's really nice because of the thick straps. It covers your bra strap, so you can wear it with a bra and it's no drama. It was tricky, these little mitered corners. I found it looks really simple, but I found really hard, and how they do the ruffle was in lots of little bits, and I found that hard to sew together. I decided to use red cotton to sew it with, which was in hindsight a bit of a mistake, so it's really obvious where I've kind of fudged it up a little bit in the corners. And you needed bias tape to just finish this edge of the armhole, which I didn't really have any of, and didn't have enough of the fabric to make bias tape. I only had a little bit of blue left, so I've used that. Can you see it from a little bit, but to be honest, it's under your armpit. I mean, who's going to notice that under my armpit? I think that will be worn lots. Nice denim skirt or jeans in the summer. Again, I've put a nice little label in from Little Rosy Cheeks. Yeah, pleased with it. I think I'll wear that quite a lot. Anything else to say? No, I don't think so. Just a nice frilly little blouse. Lovely. Then I have finished. Now, this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I found in a charity shop a quilt. I wasn't even sure when I saw it in the charity shop, and I thought, I'm going to buy it because I'll regret it if I don't. And then I got it home and had a real good look at it, and I think it's made of silk. I did a little burn test, so burnt a little bit of the fabric, and it reacts how silk would. It's an unusual, I've never seen a quilt like it before. I'll show you what I made out of it. So I made a tamarack jacket by Grainline Studio. There's lots of different options of different shapes for this jacket, but I went with the cropped bow closure. It's really quite short and oversized, a real boxy sort of shape. And yeah, it's got fish all over it. The fish are sort of printed on, and on the quilt they were in a real random pattern. Obviously it was quilted already. They were just in a random pattern all over. So I've tried to sort of cut it out so it's quite random on the coat. But I've got some full fish on there. Yeah, it's the perfect little jacket for spring, actually. I've worn it quite a lot. You bind all the edges, and I think I bias bound the seams. Yeah, I did. So I went through and just bound all the seams as well, so it's a bit prettier on the inside. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, really. I have got another 2 quilts that I will make a version of it, I think, as it gets a little bit more autumny when it's more jacket weather. Yeah, but it's lovely. It's got this little rounded front, these little pockets here, which you can sort of sew up and make, you know, so you have a smaller pocket to put your hands. But I just quite like putting my hands in there. I wouldn't really put anything in them because they're quite open pockets. But it's a really lightweight, and actually it's ever so warm, and oh yeah, it's really nice. I mean, not everyone wants a fish quilted jacket, but I do. and I really like it. I often wear it with the sleeves sort of rolled back a little bit, so it makes them sort of 3/4 length sleeves. And like I say, it's a really boxy sort of oversized fit. But oh yeah, I like that quite a lot. Then last finished thing I was going to show you is the ruby skirt by Sew Over It. Now this is a free pattern. My friend and I, my best friend from school, she's into sewing as well, and we have a little Thursday night sew club where she comes over to my house, and we set up the sewing machines and just put the world to rights, and we usually make the same pattern together. Her fabric choices are very different to mine. She's got a different style to me, but we usually make the same pattern. So this is a ruby skirt. It's a A-line skirt, again flat fronted with an elasticated waist back, elasticated at the back, flat fronted. It's got these patch pockets which I just put a little bit of pink rickrack round, and it's meant to have buttonholes all the way down with the buttons, but I only made a functional button on the waistband. The rest I've just sewn it shut, because I really hate it when skirts, when you sit down, when they kind of gape open, and actually you can get it on and off without undoing the buttons. Anyway, I didn't even need to do the waistband to undo, and then yeah, just open at the front. It's a really nice shape. It's sort of gathered here at the front in the waistband, and it just fits really nicely. I'll show you in a second. I've cut another one out that I'm going to make another one out of. So the fabric I used for this was from a jumble sale. It was a duvet cover, a really well worn duvet cover. It had gone sort of threadbare around the top, sort of the bit that goes under your chin. That had gone really, so it was really well washed and really well used. But some of the fabric is still usable. It is really soft because it's been so well washed and used. It's really soft, really drapey. It's not threadbare or anything. I've used the good bits, and I just really like the pattern. It's a really nice, it's not see-through or anything. I mean, it's not sheer, but it's just a really lightweight skirt in the summer. But the duvet cover, on closer inspection, I looked at it, it had a little name tag in it, like you put in the school, so it had a girl's name tag in it. I was going to sew it in the skirt because I thought, it just tells the story of the fabric and where it's come from. But somebody messaged me on Instagram when I put that on my stories and said, what if you're in an accident or something, and then they would find a name tag in your clothes and be looking for the wrong person? So I thought, yeah, maybe I won't do that after all. So I didn't put it in there, but I think they were probably, I'll make up a story in my head, but I think they were probably boarding school sheets. So I can't think of another reason why you would want to name your bedding. But I think, yeah, they were probably from a boarding school. So they were the sheets they used when they were at school, so they could be put back on their bed. But it's lovely. It's just a really ditzy print. It's very me, very summery. And I thought that would go really nice with the cotton silk jumper that I'm knitting. It goes really nice with that little peachy pink colour there. Yeah, I really like it. So within that, my friend and I now have cut out another ruby skirt, and I've this time used a vintage tablecloth. It's just cut out at the moment. I haven't started sewing it together. So this was a linen tablecloth that I've had for ages, that I can't remember where I got it from, boot sale or something, and I had just enough fabric, literally have nothing left. I think probably just enough to make a scrunchie, but not really anything at all. It was meant to be. Yeah, so that's a slightly thicker material. It's linen, I think, but that will make another lovely ruby. My friend's coming around tomorrow, so we're having a full sewing day tomorrow because it's the school holidays, so that will be good. Hopefully I'll get that finished and be able to wear that. So the last couple of things are things that I'm working on. They're not finished yet. So I suddenly got in my head that I wanted to try some embroidery. I've always wanted to do embroidery, but I'm a bit, I don't know, I think it's so much work, and I didn't really, some people's work is beautiful and I love it, but I'm not sure I would want to put that much work and then just have something for my wall or a needle case or whatever. So suddenly my mum gave me a book, which I'll show you in a minute, and she uses embroidery a lot on clothes. So I thought, oh, maybe I could try some embroidery on clothes. So I found, again, that I think I got these off Facebook, like, you know, the free buy nothing sites. And a lady was clearing out her mum's craft stash, and she had a load of vintage embroidery transfers. I got these a couple of years ago. I mean, they're all really lovely. I really like that one. I think, to be honest, I think they were probably meant to go on tablecloths or linen of some description. But there's lots of them, all different ones, some big, some small. So I went and dug those out that I had and ironed them on to a top. So I decided to make a sagebrush top. I cut it out really quickly and then thought, oh yeah, I just wanted to do some embroidery, so I didn't really think about it. So I've used the leftover gingham that I made my trousers out of. I mean, there wasn't much left, so I've scraped this top out of it, and not really enough. There wasn't enough fabric, so I've just kind of had to wing it a little bit. But I cut out the yoke and decided to embroider these little hearts on there. Don't look too close, it's my first attempt at embroidery, but I really like it. So yeah, I haven't finished this yet, so I cut out the yoke and then thought I'll think about the rest later. So I've just about managed to get enough to make the back and the sides. It's meant to be bias bound around the neckline, and you tie it in a bow at the back, but I didn't have enough fabric to make the bias binding, so I've kind of freestyled a little facing in there. Yeah, it's difficult to see because it's in the same fabric, but it was quite a good way of covering the back of the embroidery. I put a little bit of interfacing before I embroidered it, and obviously this is the seam here, so I haven't sewn it down. I'm going to hand sew the facing down so that covers all that messiness underneath there. And then I think I haven't got enough fabric for the sleeves, so I think I'm just going to bias bind the armholes, so obviously sew it together and have it open. And yeah, I think it's really pretty. I mean, I probably won't wear it with my trousers. I might literally might be a little bit much, but I think it'd be a lovely little summer top, easy to wear. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing the embroidery. That was the main thing I wanted to do, and it's just typical me. I get an idea and I just want to do it, so I just dive head first in and think about how I'm going to finish it off later. But yeah, I really like it. So this is, me and my mum were having a conversation. We were looking about a book and she was saying how she used to really like embroidery, and I thought, yeah, I'd like to give it a go. And we were talking about this book. She had this book when I was a little girl and made a couple of things out of it, and she went on eBay and found it for me. So it's by lovely Una Stubbs, and it's a great book. She writes, I've read all the way through it, she writes really nicely, and there's so many lovely projects and things. I don't know if I'll be able to show you all different types of embroidery and different ways of using it. So where was the picture I wanted to show you particularly? Where is it? Here. So she uses it lots in clothes. She's got, can you see, all different shirts and different things she's made out of it. And what I was really interested in this like cut work embroidery, I mean, I think I'm quite ambitious. I thought, I can give that a go, and I was really keen on trying that out. So I whipped up a little top. Well, this is half a top. I've made a dress out of this pattern. It's the one that everybody used, the McCall's 7969. I have written it down. 7869, and it's a dress, but I've hacked it into a top, and this is only the top half of the top. I haven't added the bottom yet. So it's a little crossover top with, I think you're supposed to have longer sleeves, but I didn't have enough fabric, so I've just made little flutter sleeves, which I haven't hemmed yet. I've just overlocked them around the edges. But again, I wanted to crack on with the embroidery, so I've sort of whizzed it up and made it so I could put the placement of the embroidery on there. And yeah, I've had a little go at cut work embroidery. I'm really pleased with it. I wish I had white thread. I didn't have any white embroidery silk, so I just thought I'd go in with the colourful one. And I'm just going to do one just on this side, on the chest, I suppose. And then you have like a longer gathered bottom. I'm going to do it quite short, quite a cropped sort of shape, but I think it'll be a really nice little summery top. This fabric is just a poly cotton that, again, I got from somebody on Facebook that was clearing out, and it was their mum's crafting stash, and there was loads of offcuts of fabric. There was only about a metre of this left in there, but I've kept it all. I've put it in my stash. I'll use it one day. But it's just really nice to know she was obviously a sewer, her mum, and now I've got it in my stash, and it's really pretty. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on with my sewing. Again, I have got other things in the pipeline, but they're the things that I thought I would show you. Yeah, so that's my sewing things. So now I thought I'd have a little bit of natter.
Natter? What do you mean by natter?
Just, we natter, we have a cup of tea, we do it every evening. Okay?
A lot like chatting, then?
No, nattering, big difference.
What's the difference?
Chatting is like a conversation. Nattering is when you flitter between subjects without having to give it a proper introduction or link them to anything. Okay?
Right, so yeah, let's have a little bit of a natter and talk about some random things that I wanted to show you. So I love a bit of thrifting. I love a charity shop. I love our local dump tip has got a reuse shop. So people take things that could be possibly reused. It's really popular. When you go now, it used to be always quite empty, but now the people queue outside to go inside. So I'm glad that it's a popular thing. But I always like to have a little rummage in there, and the prices are always really good. And I found this little guy. I'm not sure if what I want to use it for is the correct purpose, but I have had a bit of a Google, and some things say it's for woodworking, some people say it's for what I want it. So I really hate when I'm making something knitted, sewn, whatever, is measuring spacing between the buttons. So this is a really good buttons baser, I suppose you would call it. So perhaps, you know, put it down the top and know that that's how far apart the buttons are going to be. It was really cheap, 50p. Old Clive in the shop doesn't really know what things are sometimes, so he just gives you a random price when you get to the till. But I was thrilled with that, really pleased. So there was that I got. Then I've got a new sewing pattern. I'm sure everybody that sews has seen this pattern, but I'm going to give the Thea trousers a try. Tilly and the Buttons were having a 20% off sale. So I'd seen this pattern and I really wanted to make it. So I thought I'd take advantage of the 20% off. I mean, I'm going to make the wide leg long version of it. I don't really know. I'd quite like to make a pair of sort of lightweight jeans out of it. I think to begin with, I've got a hideous 80s, 90s curtain fabric that's sort of yellow with massive flowers on. It's really curtainy, but I'm going to use that as a twirl and see how I get on. There's lots of things I haven't tried before, so it's got, you know, a proper zip and fly. I've never actually put a zip in anything before, so but Tilly and the Buttons patterns are always really great instructions, and I think there might be a sew along on YouTube. I haven't looked, but I'm sure there probably is. you know, or at least videos for the trickier parts anyway. So I'm going to give that a try. Then I've got some new fabric duvet. So this is brand new, but I got it on Vinted and it was £4 for a duvet cover. So it's got mushrooms on one side and then the red gingham on the other. I think I'm going to make some sort of blouse out of this guy. Be nice. It looks see-through, but it's not really. It's only because it's got red gingham underneath. So I think I might make a blouse. And what I'm intending to try, I think I'll use the patina blouse. I've made a few of those pattern. And I think I kind of want to make a sailor's collar, probably then out of the gingham. So, you know, like a collar that comes up and then goes to sort of a square at the back, maybe with a bit of rip-rack round it. I think that's what I'm going to try. Yeah, so I've hacked the patina blouse a few times with the collar, made them a bit bigger, a bit frillier, different things on it, because it's like quite a small pointy collar on the original pattern. But yeah, I've redrafted the collar shape. And I think I'm going to try and do that with the sailor pattern with that. Yeah, I'm looking forward. That's another thing. I've got to finish some things before I can crack on with that. And then the last thing I was going to show you is this lovely tablecloth. So this is huge. I got this one at a car boot sale recently. I've got a few other tablecloths as well, but this one's my favourite. And I think I'm going to try and make some sort of blouse out of this guy. It seems a bit of a shame to cut into it, but it's a huge tablecloth. It would fit my kitchen table, but I've got quite a collection of tablecloths. And the lady, I was talking to the lady that I bought it from at the car boot sale, and she used to live in Malta, and she said it was handmade by the old Maltese ladies. She said, I mean, I can just picture it down. She said they used to have shops with all tablecloths and different linens hanging outside, and they used to sit in chairs outside the shop making them. And she said this was one of the hand finished ones, so it has got some embroidery and things on it, and it does seem like a crime to cut it, but it is damaged in some areas. Some of the lace is ripped in some areas, and you know, she said she'd had it in her cupboard for years. I don't want to just leave it in my cupboard for years. It would be nice for it to be used and worn, which I will. But it just, I don't know, I have to be brave to cut into it. I've got it out twice now and laid a pattern on it and then chickened out. So I just need to be brave and cut this guy's out. So yeah, again, I think I might use a patina blouse, but kind of, I might do it up with bows similar to the waistcoat that I've got on. Yeah, so that's everything I wanted to show you. I hope you've liked my video. I know there will be loads of so's and and that. It's difficult to talk to yourself at the camera. It looks so easy. Everyone else makes it look so easy, but it isn't. I hope you liked it, and I think I will try and record these videos maybe every kind of 6 weeks or so. I work in a school, so obviously we have holidays every 6-7 weeks, and that gives me enough time to make stuff in between, so new things to show you, and hopefully I'll have finished some of the bits that I've done. I hope you like it. I'm happy. Like I say, I'm not very technical with knitting or sewing. I mean, I'm not experienced enough with sewing to give anybody any advice, I don't think, but knitting, you know, I'm happy to answer anyone's questions, but I'm not a gauge kind of girl. I just wing it with everything in life, really. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, and give me a like and a subscribe. That's what they say, isn't it? Okay, see you again. Bye.